Hola, ¿qué tal mi gente bella? Yo soy Perla y gracias por estar aquí conmigo acompañándome. Espero y que estén muy bien. Ojalá y que así sea. Y en esta ocasión me vine aquí a dar una vuelta al centro en Chicago, Illinois. Y espero que ustedes me acompañen. Espero que estén aquí conmigo en el recorrido que voy a dar. Y sí, mi gente bella, junio 15 del 2025 y yo con chamarra aquí en Chicago. Es que el clima está, pero que sí fresco todavía. Es que es la ciudad. Espero y que me acompañen, gente bella. Vamos a bajar aquí donde están los barcos y vamos a tomar un barco. Vamos a dar un paseo en barco. Hay diferentes tipos de barcos y todos incluyen un paquete diferente de diferentes cosas. Unos tienen cena, otros tienen bebidas, otros tienen nada más snacks, entonces, y bebidas. Pero ya depende de cada persona el barco que quiera escoger. Y también los que estén disponibles, porque se llenan los espacios rápidos. Ahorita nosotras, como no hicimos reservación, vinimos así de repente, nos tocó uno que no incluye la cena. Nos decían que podíamos agarrar comida de algún lugar y subir al barco con ella, pero tampoco nos da tiempo. Aquí no te despachan tan rápido. Aquí todo se toma su tiempo. Entonces pues vamos a ver qué snacks vamos a encontrar. Por lo regular yo no soy mucho de aperitivos, Vamos a ver cómo nos va.
Who tries to swim in the river and he ends up permanent changes. We don't want any of that to happen. We want everybody to stay healthy. This river is like a river in London or Paris. Maybe watch the Olympics. The first skyscraper on this side of the river. The design was stolen. Anybody ever been to Seville, Spain? They have the same one there. This one was a little bit later. That was a cathedral called La Giralda down in Sevilla, a former mosque from the Umayyad Caliphate. That square clock tower does tell us the real time. Kids, ask your parents. That's how we used to tell what time it was back in the 1900s. And it is currently about 1:20 or 4:05. There's no way to tell. I'm sorry. I wish I knew. I'm only 33, like I said. We're going to the Michigan Avenue here. This is a double-decker 106-year-old bridge from 1919. We can see those different white tiles. And we can wave, folks. The greatest architecture of all is a human spirit to get those hands down before we see that bridge. Thank you so much. This is named for a French-speaking Caribbean guy named Jean-Baptiste Pointe du Sable, a Haitian guy from what we now call Haiti. Now, back then it was called Saint-Domingue. It was a French crown-owned sugar and slavery colony. This guy du Sable was a free black man who spoke French and was educated in France. And we can see those terracotta tiles there. Terracotta means baked earth in Italian. It's a ceramic product like you might see on a bathtub or a sink. 1924. Currently, the Wrigley Building has a lot of embassies and architecture firms inside of it. And in front of us is a big blue glass tower from the year 2009. I always forget the name of this one personally. Luckily for me, it is labeled. It's the only one that's labeled. This is contextualism, it's called. Adrian Smith designed this one. He's from Evanston in the suburbs. And every patio in the Trump International Hotel and Tower is the same level as a building in the neighborhood. First patio is the same level as the Wrigley Building. Second patio is the same level as the rocket ship-shaped Mather Tower. The third patio is the same height as the AMA Plaza, the big black box just behind it. These sort of 21st century glass towers are very highly mirrored. They sort of project sunlight. The cooler the sky looks, the cooler the glass towers look. Especially a sunrise or a sunset on this building can be thrown across town to the north side or the south side. We can see a lot of these white 1920s towers made to be illuminated by electrical lights. On the left is a wedding cake building that is known as the Jewelers Building from the year 1925. This is the seat of the jewel industry back in the 20s. What's up, guys? Back in the day, this is known as the City Beautiful movement. That's the architecture school there in the Jewelers Building. Every single inch of the building was supposed to be beautiful, down to the elevator buttons and the light switches. Those 4 towers on the corners, those are all water towers, the same wooden water towers you might see on the set of West Side Story. Beautiful western shadow being projected onto that steakhouse. And on the right is the corncob-shaped Marina City. If anybody likes corn, we got plenty of it in Chicago. This is a corn-based society. Our beef is fed with corn. Our dairy's fed with corn. Corn is money. Corn is sugar. Corn is gasoline. And corn is also home. 1967, Bertrand Goldberg designed them. They're pretty famous for movies and music and stuff. And we're going to go under State Street, as Frank Sinatra called it, that great street, where I just got to say, they do things they don't do on Broadway. Hey, one of those things they don't do on Broadway is boat parking. Marina City, check that out. A city within a city. We're going to smell a lot of beef on this river. I just want to warn you, this is a beef-based society as well. Smith & Wollensky's is a steakhouse. They got 24/7 valet parking, which is great for me, so nobody parks their car on top of my head. This one's also got that saddle-shaped building in the middle, which is the House of Blues concert venue co-founded by Dan Aykroyd, the Thin Blues Brother. I went there for gospel brunch on Mother's Day. I'm not sure they're doing that tomorrow, but that was a really good time. A big Baptist congregation from Pullman on the far south side came, and I was moved by the music. If you want to see an action star drive their car off the garage, there's a movie where Steve McQueen does it in 1980, and another one where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does it in like 2011. Now we're going under Dearborn Street. This is where Mr. Hemingway lived for a few years after World War I. This is also where City Hall is, down by Millennium Park. And people are loving the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk is the public park on the south bank of the main branch of the river. This has been proposed since 1907, was not actually built until 2015. It is about 10 years old in its current iteration. And people are loving it. There's live music, there's live speeches. Sometimes people just say woo just to say woo. You don't need a reason to say woo, not on a Saturday. So every one of these little rooms has a different vibe going on, as you can see. This is the bar, next is the amphitheater, so on and so forth. We're going to go under Clark Street here. This is one of our diagonal streets. A lot of the diagonal streets that are off the grid system are ancient trails that came before European languages and horses, from people like the Potawatomi and the Illinois. Clark is one of those. And on the right, there's a 7-story 1914 red brick warehouse called the Reed Murdoch Center. This was a food warehouse back in the day. Those tiles on the side are made to look like seeds and grasses. And looks like there's a wedding there tonight. They might be getting ready for it. This is a nice example of adaptive reuse. The warehouse was bought by the city in the 1950s. They turned it into offices and courts, and now it is a nice place to work. They make the Encyclopedia Britannica there. Adaptive reuse is what it's called when you change the purpose of a building in order to save the building itself. A log cabin cannot be easily turned into offices, but a warehouse absolutely. And then this is LaSalle Street, kind of like Chicago's Wall Street. South of here is where our financial district is at. That's where a lot of the banking industries and market trading firms are and stuff. And on the left, we're going to see a checkerboard-shaped building known as the Builders Building. This is from the year 1926. Mostly, the roof and the right half are from 1985, 59 years later. The builders built this building almost like a big menu. You got cheap pillars on the bottom, expensive pillars on the top, and that big Art Deco grid was possible in the 1920s, not so possible in the 1910s. We might see a train going south on this track here into the Loop. The Loop is our downtown area. That is an elevated train circle of elevated train tracks that goes down to Van Buren Street and the Harold Washington Library, also one of our great buildings, which will not be on the tour. It drives me crazy how many great buildings that are not on the river we have that I don't get to show you, but you just have to investigate on your own. On the right is a building from the year 1930. In the year 1930, this was the biggest building in the world. The Merchandise Mart, made as a warehouse of warehouses, a showroom of showrooms. This was 400,000 square meters, or 4 million square feet, in the styles of Art Deco, which is a celebration of machines and fabrication assembly lines, as well as Egyptomania. Egyptomania is what they called it in the 1920s, when Americans, rich and poor, got obsessed with ancient Egypt. This particular Egyptomaniac was a guy named Marshall Field at the Marshall Field department store. He sold the spot to John F. Kennedy's dad, Joe P. Kennedy, in 1946. The Kennedy family ran this joint until the 90s when they sold the big building, but they kept the parking lot. They had a feeling in their big old Irish heads that the parking lot was going to grow in value, and it sure did. The Salesforce Tower is one of those buildings developed by those Kennedys, and you can see they're cleaning the windows today. There's a window washing crane on the way top by those letters. Franklin Street is going to take us into the part of the river where the North Branch meets the South Branch of the main branch. Captain John's going to take us to the North Branch, but this is the heart of the river, at the heart of the city, at the heart of the country, at the heart of the world, and now for the first time ever, the heart of the Roman Catholic Church, Chicago Pope. New York will never have a pope. Kind of pathetic that a great city has no pope. I don't know. I guess they can pray to our pope if they want one. On the right are these three towers that are made by the Kennedy family. Wolf Point East. Cesar Pelli was the lead architect on these, but he passed away before they were done. He is a star architect originally from Tucumán, Argentina. This is where we are. If you look at the railings, there's a sort of circular logo. Looks like a peace sign upside down, or a sort of letter Y inside of a circle. That's still Chicago City logo, and that is this part of the river. North Branch, South Branch, Main Branch. And so a lot of these buildings, and as recently as the year 1983, these were all parking lots, and these have been developed during the past 42 years to something a little bit more impressive. And there's a little bit of surveillance on a Saturday, a lot of people out, a lot of newscasters. Oh, and there's a wedding, what's up? We're not going to interrupt, it looks like something real is going on. I'm not going to compete with a real wedding. Hey, congratulations. Hey, congratulations. That is also architecture. It might just turn out that the greatest architecture of all is love. Is that a bride down there? Again, I got the cataract surgery. I cannot tell the difference between a wedding dress and a regular old white dress. We got a lot of those too. But this building on the left is the same shape as a McDonald's apple pie box. This from the year 2015. River Point Tower. My cousin Steve works there. That is a real fact. He's an office worker Mondays to Fridays. And there's a lot of train infrastructure around here. We got dads and grads and weddings. Those circular windows and the white walls, that's ventilation. Those are fans for the Amtrak trains that go underneath. North-south, Daily to Minneapolis, St. Paul. And on the left, we have the oldest building on the whole tour. This big pink brick box is from the year 1898. Back in 1898, there were no windows, no patios. This was a freezer, a meat locker, frozen salad, storing some of the 8 to 10 million cows and bulls that Chicago used to slaughter every year. This was the hog butcher to the world, and this was the freezer at the butcher shop. Beautiful Chicago flag flying in the sunlight behind it, and a little Chicago flag on this little boat right in front. On our right is a standing railroad bridge with an exposed counterweight. This is from 1907. It is standing permanently. They lower it one day a year. But that counterweight is the same weight as the whole bridge is when it's down, and it has a full train car on it. This is landmarked. It's not going anywhere. What's up, guys? Chillin', chillin', chillin'. This is a nice little feature of Chicago. People love that photo, especially from the north. It will sort of creep up as more plants grow in the summertime. On the left are Harry Weiss's River Cottages, 1988, 4 townhomes that were built brand new as the same sort of partner to the site behind it, which was also designed by the same architect. The triangles look like sailboats, the circular windows look like portholes. This is the Kenzie Street Bridge. This is where the Dave Matthews Band thing happened, and no, I don't like to talk about it. Yeah, it's cheap laughs, it's cheap heat. It was a bathroom thing. A rock and roll band parked their bus on the bridge, and they emptied their septic tank onto a boat full of innocent tourists. It was not our boat. I won't tell you whose boat it was, because it was not...
Vamos a buscar algo de comer porque ya hace hambre. El paseo en barco estuvo casi 2 horas. Con toda la información, la verdad es que yo sí me agoté un poquito y me dio hambre. Nada más me les pierdo un poquito y se estresan. También hay fruta. Sí, donde quiera andamos, ¿verdad? Sí, la fruta. Esos son puestos mexicanos. Se pone la gente mexicana a vender su comida donde quiera. Bueno, pues vamos aquí a buscar algún lugar para comer. Ya cuando lo encuentre, pues tomaré algún video. Y si no, es porque no aguante el hambre.